Okay, hello. Um, Today's date is January 18th. I can tell you already that is not the second week of the new year. Um, Not starting off strong with the challenge. I'm a little embarrassed by it, but I thought as you know, better late than never, right? So I thought that instead for this video, I can just ramble about something that I used to do. Oh boy, in a elementary school. Um, I had one of my best friends when I was younger. We had a brief stint where we explored making comic books. And at the time, it sounded like the coolest thing ever because in the minds of, an elementary school kid, having a cool comic book and emulating the cool comics that you would read from the library when we were mandated to pick out a library book. I thought I was cheating the system by taking like a Captain Underpants book, or there was another one. It was like Franny or something. It was a purple haired little girl who was like a mad scientist. And somehow there was always like a greater evil that she ended up using her mad scientist skills to beat. Um, in many ways, just kind of related to League. It's kind of like Vigar, where you just want to be a evil, powerful being, and you ultimately end up being a source for good, and people admire you for it. But this comic that we made was, oh man, I'm sure I have it somewhere. Just like either in my closet back home, my childhood bedroom, or maybe like locked away in a little time capsule chest. I remember those things being so common back in the day. Um, I actually had a lot of comics. I had my own run as well. It's called Captain Penguin, and he like a little sidekick with a gnome. See if I even remember how to draw him. It started with the eyes, and I do apologize. I'm not entirely used to drawing on the tablet yet, but I got it this December. It's been fun to play around with, so I'm hoping to get better at drawing with it. But just like a little something to do. So it started with the eyes, and then I always did oop, oh no, using the eraser tool. Started with the, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the white ink. So it started with the eyes, and then I always did like this kind of pirate hat, kind of like Flapjack, and I would do one beak, and then I was always terrible at closing the beak, so I just did it that way. And then I would make the head, and then I'm trying to remember. I think I'd finish the head, draw a triangle, and I'd draw like this kind of, oh, what were they called? It's like the not really pulleys, but the roly-olies or whatever. They wobble, but they don't fall down. If you guys remember that at all. But then, ooh, oh, I'm clicking the button. Now let's switch the colors. So we did this, and we always gave him a bell. And that was a little buckle. And then I remember I draw a line down here. You give a little waves, kind of like those frilly pirate shirts. And this would come up, and we just make these little flipper, little penguin flipper arms. One straight there, straight there, and I'd give him like a little lapel on the side. Um, and then, oh man, the pants were brutal. Like I never knew how to do the legs, so I always made them just incredibly lanky, just as like lanky penguin. and then. All right, I'm gonna have to call that one. I can't do that. That's not. If I left him looking like that, I would not feel good about myself. I'd feel so bad for this guy. There you go. And then the boots were always these cowboy boots with really long toes. And then sometimes I'd give him a sword. Let's clean up the pants here. Apologize. I would always give him a sword. Or sometimes I'd give him a sword. I didn't always give him a sword. But this is Captain Penguin. And this was a comic line I had. And I knew I drew him so many more times than I ever like made a story for. But I think all the fun little scenarios in my head, in my imagination, I would just draw him doing because I wanted to like put to paper what was going on in my head. But he always had this little sidekick, and oh my gosh, if this guy looks rough. The sidekick was always even rougher, but I think I told myself it was intended to be that way, so I wouldn't feel bad for being so rough with him. Like he always had this little grin, but then his body was just this rectangle, and then he had the same boots. Guy's looking like a Christmas elf here. And this is him. There you go. I don't think I ever gave him a name. He was just Gnome. And this was my comic in elementary. Pretty great. Oh. I don't remember too much of the one that I had with my friend. His name was Victor. It was like these two guys, and I know there was some space travel. Actually did the art for it. I think I was doing the story. It was all about like shooting, and there were these UFOs flying around, and it was some outrageous plot, but oh man, it was really fun. I Looking back at it now, I would have been really interested to see kind of where that would go, but that's okay. I don't really have any sense of direction for this video, but it's just fun to record. Finally get something out. But yeah, one thing I also liked drawing, I'm gonna try to do a little bit of color here because I never actually spent the time to do color. Oh, 12. Find 12 is better. It was I learned how to draw a tulip, and I thought at the time it was like the coolest thing ever. So it starts with the top, and you kind of do this little swirl like that, and you can fill in the center if you want, but I never really did, so I'm just gonna leave that there. And then what you do from there is you kind of just like I would repeatedly do these small little marks because I think I was so bent on perfection. And if I did these little marks, it was more like sculpting, where you chip away at the vision over time. And then I'll try to get this smudged here. I'll fill in there. The idea was that, like, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be anywhere close to being perfect. Now this is interesting. How do I do this thing? I always did like this kind of shelf here. And then I think I would accentuate this little leaf part right here. I don't remember how I did this, but oops. draw out this part. Ah, that maybe. Let's just go along with it. Bob Ross style, right? I always like Bob Ross. Every time I see his videos come up, oops, I think to myself, I'm gonna go and watch him because he's such a positive influence and always wanted more positivity in life. So the next thing we do here is we add a little bit of color. I don't know too much about shading, so I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I'm gonna keep it in black and white, and then later, when I feel good about the outline, we can shade it in, all right? So this was always like, started with the stem. And the stem, I always had to make really fat because I didn't really ever feel great about what I was drawing. Then what I did do is I always had another part cut out, just like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what a tulip looks like, but this is what I drew. um, and actually, you know what? I think after this, I'm gonna look at a tulip and then just have the side-by-side comparison, and we'll see how accurate that is. Let's draw a little bit of grass. Unfortunately, got a little bit of the mark come up. We'll do this. We'll lock this. We'll make a new one. And then on this layer, we can try a little bit of shading. Let's do a pink. Let's choose to see if there's a better way to do this. Because right now, I'm kind of just writing over. Like if I make this opaque, would that be better? Let's try that. I switch out the pen for a more opaque. What does this look like? Closer to what I like. I'm gonna be honest. I think messy is like a fun little thing to have. I do this. Don't fill in lines. I'm just saying right now, if you're looking for perfection, I do not have it, so I might as well just embrace not having it, right? Dark, this color. I mean, we filled this in, so I don't know how well this is going to go, but just add some color to the grass. About that. Actually, I kind of like it. Honestly, I think this looks neat. You kind of get like the vague outline of what something looks like. You know what? I think I'm gonna try that more. I'll do an outline, I'll fill it in, and then I'll take away the outline. That sounds fun. I like that. It's a good idea. But yeah, I don't really have a direction, but I think this is good for now. Sorry about the late upload. I'm gonna figure out another video for the third week. Thank you. See ya.